Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Blue. Uh, oh man, I'm so used to my regular channel saying, no, but yes, I am your host, Mr. Blue, um, your host of the Mr. Blue podcast. Wow, what a great way to start the episode, huh? So, I'm gonna remake episode 4 of the podcast just so that you guys can see everything, right? And there'll be another episode on the podcast that I will remake too. That could be my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. review, like the whole series. Just stay tuned. So, I want to get back onto this topic that unfortunately nobody talks about because, honestly, in other people's eyes, in my eyes too, this franchise will always be popular. And I think it was like I don't know if it's safe to say like the High School Musical of the Disney XD era, just because like it was the one show that people talked about. And yes, I am talking about the Lab Rats series franchise, cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I will be also talking about Mighty Med and Elite Force along with this. Sorry, guys. I remember back in the early days of my channel when I was first starting, I used to talk about these shows all the time just because, like, I would binge watch these shows. Like, out of all the Disney shows, I would definitely binge watch these just because these shows were so unique. And unfortunately, guys, we all know that not all the Disney XD live action shows were canon to each other, right? Like, you know how the Disney Channel universe, let's call it. Well, some people are calling it the Disneyverse. I don't care. It's like one consistent timeline, not storyline, but like sometimes they do reference old shows. Like we obviously knew what the big three were back in the good old Disney Channel days. It was That's So Raven, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana. And just seeing those three shows cross over. Probably a couple of times. Like that was pretty cool, especially for a Disney Channel fan's dream, right? I had no idea that Mighty Med was part of this universe. I remember I immediately liked Mighty Med as soon as I saw the trailers. I remember I watched it the first thing on Netflix, but I didn't watch all the episodes until my motivation for the show started kicking in because 2016 was honestly a big year for both franchises, right? And I'm even surprised, like, looking back on some old interviews now, like, especially like the Elite Force interviews, like, they're asking, like, some of the Mighty Med cast members, like, oh, what did your fans think of, like, the two shows crossing over? And surprisingly, there's not even one hater. Like, honestly, though, I do have this fear on the back of my head, and I do want your guys' opinion on this for sure. I do feel like there are a lot of haters now for Mighty Med because it was too punny, right? Like that's what I loved about these shows, right? Like Lab Rats was more serious, more mature. Like wow, like this show was mature for the show, right? Like honestly, I think Lab Rats at least could have been TV-14, right? And of course, Mighty Man was more of the comedy side, right? Like, so yeah, it was an even balance between the shows, right? And Kaz, I think he breaks that stereotype of, like, being, like, the really dumb character. Sure, like, his character in Mighty Med was stupid, right? But, like, he's, like, the kind of stupid that we all can relate to and we find funny, but like since, bring in Elite Force, like since like the destruction of Mighty Man, we don't see it like on screen, it matures Kaz, right? And that's why I like it shatters him, like he's scarred for life because he lost so many good friends along the way for sure. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I'm on board with some Mighty Med fans who have a good idea or like fan fictions on how Mighty Med should have continued. Honestly, they should have had a season 3, but a limited season. I think 10 episodes would have been perfect, you know? Because you don't need to make 24 or 26 episodes for a third season, right? Just bring back Mighty Men, you know? And it makes sense why that show ended first, and then Lab Rats ended last, because it's Lab Rats started it all, and it finishes it all, and then it goes right into the next chapter, Elite Force. Like, man. Now, I did say this in one of my other episodes on the podcast. I remember I used to hate Lab Rats so much, just because, again, I was afraid with some of these new Disney shows back in the 2010s era. I was afraid, like, if I loved them more than the old shows I grew up with, like, I would never forgive myself. But, like, honestly, I still think everyone can agree that Lab Rats is, like, the best Disney show ever. Like, if you have not watched the show, what are you doing with your life? Like, and I figured out a watch order on how to watch the series, like both shows. So you're going to want to watch the first 2 seasons of Lab Rats, then the first season of Mighty Med, then, yes, season 3 of Lab Rats, then... what am I thinking? Yes, the first half of season 2 of Mighty Med, stop where it shows like the second part of the crossover, right? Then go to Lab Rats, watch the first half of season 4, and then start that crossover. Finish Mighty Med, then finish Lab Rats, and then start Elite Force. Of course, I love the cast. I love the cast, guys. Like, Billy Unger, like, he goes way back to a lot of, like, kid roles. Like, I remember watching him in a lot of stuff, for sure. And the fact that he, you know, he plays this smart kid, you know, like, man. And to some degree, I can relate with Chase in a lot of ways, even though I'm the oldest in my family and, you know, Chase is the youngest. You know what's funny, guys? Billy Unger is older than Kelly Berglund because, you know, Bree, she's supposed to be Chase's older sister, right? But man, that's pretty funny. I did like both Billy and Kelly's chemistry, like, outside of the show, like, when they were dating. But unfortunately, guys, I have to bring this up again. I'm petting my cat here. People were making disgusting incest fanfiction of Bree and Chase becoming a couple. Like, I'm sorry. I thought these two were siblings. Since when does incest take place in the Lab Rats universe, huh? Like, why? I will never understand that, guys. Explain to me in the comments why was that a thing? Oh, and Adam. Oh, I can't stress enough about him. Like, he is really dumb. He is just really dumb. Like, I hate it when, again, it's Hollywood in general when it comes to, like, especially with TV, right? They always make the strongest person the most dumbest idiot. Yes, the dumbest idiot on the planet. I'm speechless, guys. Like, I'm so mad. Like, whenever I'm pissed off, like, I mix my words, right? Like, but it's an accurate description of Adam. I mean, you think with a serious show like Lab Rats, like, they should spare Adam, you know, like, trust me, I have met a lot of buff people in my life, and they are the smartest people in the world. So Hollywood, I don't know what you're seeing in your everyday lives, but you got the whole thing wrong. At least Adam is not flexing his muscles, because, you know, that's a good thing. You know, Bree, she's the girl that every dude likes. I mean, of course, I had a crush on her too, but of course there are her moments where, you know, just like everybody else, she messes up, right? And she has some cringy moments, and she thinks she can one-up everybody. Like, sorry, Bree, I love you, but don't do that. Just stop. And Leo Dooley, man, I used to hate him a lot. I thought again, when I watched the first season, like binge watched it. Again, this was back in the day. I found him really annoying, especially like his voice. But then again, like the kid was going through like puberty and all that, right? And then I think when it came to season 4, I think that's when my appreciation for the character started to come in, just because like Leo, like he's part of the team, like he's serious about it. He's become a mentor on Bionic Island. Like, man. So Donald Davenport, also known as Big D. I used to like him at first, but as you get older, you realize how, well, even in the beginning, he's an egomaniac, as Chase points out. Like, yeah. So yeah, I do not like Donald that much anymore. Even how Sparks, like, honestly, I'm sorry. If you've seen his work, like, he's a comedian, and I'm sorry, his jokes just do not hit. Why aren't people just saying boo to him? Like, he is not a good comedian. Oh, man. I really wish what they could have brought back in Elite Force was that even in the intro, Chase has basically his lightsaber, right? And by the way, I wish they would have added lightsaber sound effects, right? He doesn't use it for the whole show, and Eddie doesn't come back. But they had to bring back Principal Perry. I hope she's not a fan favorite, guys. Like any episode she was in, like, oh my gosh, she is just so annoying. Especially the actress herself in person, like, oh. If you already know, like, who she is, like, just keep it to yourselves. Honestly, the lab rats would have been fine without Principal Perry. She's just that, she's that comic relief, right? Like, as I know she's intended to be, but like, it's just, oh man. And the fact that she keeps making up these stories, like back in her old college days, right? And I believe it was in this show, like Lab Rats, I believe Bree pointed out to Perry, like, you did not do all these things. Oh yeah, it was the space two-parter, right, in season 4. And twice now, in the original show in Elite Force, Perry keeps saying, oh, I'm a bit of a techie. And she thinks, like, by hitting the technology, it's going to come back up. Like, no. And I think everyone can agree, like, the woman has many sides. None of them are good. I had no problems with Bionic Island. I want to get back to that in a little bit. I liked how every season kept getting better and better, especially budget-wise. Like, sure, like, the first season, you expect it to be, like, not anything much, just like a casual Disney show, right? Like, every episode is its own arc, if you will, but, like, sometimes when, especially, like, at the ending of a season, right, especially in the first season, like, when Marcus comes in, and they continue on with that, and I liked it how, with each season, like, they made it more and more serious, right? Like, season 2 got to a point where, sure, they kept that storyline, and they kept some episodes who had their own arcs, but, like, man, as soon as seasons 3 and 4 come in, like, man, that hits hard, like, in a good way. Because I like it how season 3 picks up immediately after season 2, right? Like, get into the nitty gritty of it, right? Man, some of the villains in this show are pretty cool. Like, I definitely like Douglas Davenport for sure. And the cool thing is I don't remember his name, but the actor who plays Douglas, both him and Hal Sparks are the same age, and apparently they have the same birthday. Like, geez, coincidence? I think not. Maybe those two are brothers. But yeah, Douglas is obviously the better sibling, so comment down below if you agree. but he wasn't necessarily a villain. He was more of a tryhard, like you're doing great, buddy, but you're more of a good guy, You're pretty much like you're the anti-villain, Um, but enter Victor Crane. Now that dude was he meant serious business. Like, I'm pretty sure he's kind of like the Bane in the Lab Rats universe. Like the DC villain, right? Um, I don't like how the technology is coming out of his face. Like, I know he installed them. Like, he wasn't born that way, but like, geez. Um, okay, back to Bionic Island. I thought Bionic Island was a pretty cool concept. I wonder if that was like a last minute thing they came up with, or like maybe some story changes. I definitely liked Spin for sure. Like, the kid did such a great job. Like, he comes from the Amazing Spider-Man films and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Like, why didn't they bring him back? Like, he was in the first half of season 4. Like, did the kid had scheduling issues, or did his parents not want him to be, like, on film anymore? Tell me what's the deal with that, guys. But, oh, they had to keep Bob. Oh my gosh. He's literally Adam's mini-me, like, how can Bob be that dumb? I would not bring him back. But then again, just like with Principal Perry, in Elite Force, they brought Bob back, but only for one episode. So yeah. My favorite part in the finale of Lab Rats is the very end of the last episode, where they're all down in the lab. Adam, Bree, Chase, Leo, Davenport, which, by the way, kind of like a little side rant, not really. I did like it how Leo finally got bionics in season 3. Like, the last 2 seasons, like, he kind of had bionics in the first season, but it was on his birthday episode. In season 2, he went to a parallel universe, and apparently that Leo there, had bionics. Which, by the way, I feel like he could be a good candidate for Miles Morales, if you think about it. Just look at his face and look at Miles and think, man, maybe he should be live-action Miles, So anyways, in the last part of Lab Rats, I liked it how there was no laugh track. Disney knew that it was overdone. Like, they knew that us, the fans, we deserve this quiet but sad moment that we know that the original show is done, but they were reassuring us with, like, basically with Lab Rats season 5, Elite Force. Yeah, just the quiet moments. Like, you gotta appreciate that last scene. The fact that both Adam and Leo got to go back to the Bionic Academy, and I think it's pretty obvious why they kept, Bree and Chase, because they're the 2 most popular characters on the show, and I don't blame people. Like, yeah, like Billy Unger, like I said, like his acting is just so spot on, and Kelly Berglund, like, geez. I looked up more Billy Unger roles after, like, Elite Force, and it looks like he hasn't done anything since Elite Force, and I am left to believe, like he's not done with Chase yet, and I agree. Like, the fact that he is also Chase makes it that special, and unfortunately, a little while back, he deleted his Instagram. I mean, if he wants to live the quiet life, mad respect, bro. I don't expect you to come back for any projects. But I did talk about this a few years back about how to revive the franchise, and we'll get to that. It really confused me when it came to Elite Force. He changed his name to, like, what was it, William Brent? Like, William is, like, the actual real name, and then Bill is, like, the nickname of that, and I totally forgot about that. Maybe it's because he was getting older. He's like, you know what, I don't want to be called Billy anymore. I want to just be called William. Like, it sounds more professional. And I don't blame you, man. Like, the reason why people call me Dave now, and I prefer that, is because like it sounds more professional. As you get older, like you use. I know Dave is a nickname, but it sounds more professional. You know, there's more respect that is to it. All right, I want to get on to Mighty Med here. Yeah, Mighty Med ran for 2 seasons. So I really do think it should have gone for a third and final season, just like a limited 10 episode run, right? I love Oliver and Kaz, Jake Short and Bradley Stephen Perry, because we all know where those two come from. Bradley Stephen Perry comes from Good Luck Charlie, and Jake Short comes from Ant Farm. And the fact that those two are still best friends to this day, which, by the way, I have discovered their podcasts recently. I haven't watched every episode, but they're good. And just by looking at them now, it looks like they have not aged at all, because honestly, to me, it's been 8 years since Elite Four, since I last saw them, right? And man, crazy. And I remember Jake Short was trying to do stand-up routines after that. I watched a couple videos. They were not that great, but these two doing a podcast, man. I gotta say though, here, guys, these are definitely better roles for these two than what they had previously, to be honest. I know that the Good Luck Charlie fans and the Ant Farm fans are gonna come at me like, oh, Dave, how could you say that? They have like the greatest characters in there. You're saying, like, I hear you guys, but like, I wasn't really clicking with Gabe that much in Good Luck Charlie, I'm happy that Fletcher Quimby had an artsy side, which, by the way, can we all appreciate that in the last few episodes of Season 2 of Mighty Med, Oliver goes by his Ant Farm alter ego, let's say, but he flipped it around, Quimby Fletcher. Like, jeez. The writers, the directors, and the producers, like, they must have been big fans of that show. Like, oh, man. And Skylar Storm. You gotta love Skylar Storm. Like, without her powers, she's still, a strong female, and that's how you write strong female characters. You don't push any agendas into a female character. You don't make the girl belittle the guy. Like, no. Just write a good female character, That's all I care about. And I loved it how they continue that in Elite Force, for sure. Oh, man, Dr. Horace Diaz. I don't know why, again, forgive me if I don't remember any other actors' names. The actor who played Horace Diaz, he is not featured as, like, the main cast member, like, in the intro. Like, since, like, in every Disney show, you gotta have maybe at least one adult. But, like, in the intros, it's just all kids. Like, no, Horace Diaz, he is the big man behind Mighty Med. Like, you gotta have him as, like, part of the main cast. And to me, he's always been part of the main cast. Like, why wouldn't he be? I would love to see him and Davenport just, like, come up with ideas together, which I will talk about in a little bit here. It took me a while to get used to Alan, like Horace's nephew, but like Alan, he's come through. He's come a long way, I guess in a way he's matured too as well. But Gus, freaking hate Gus. Why does he exist, huh? Why does Gus exist, huh? I don't understand that, guys. Again, explain that logic to me. Wallace and Clyde, they're wannabe villains. They form into this big villain. Like, they have the other half of the, what is it called? Like, the dialect? No, that's not the word for it. Let's just call it a necklace. And Horace has the other half, right? So, in the season 1 finale, when they both took the two pieces of the necklace, put them together, and they turned into one villain, like, geez. And the fact that Horace can heal superheroes, which, by the way, I did like the ideas for the superheroes, like, man, I'm especially impressed with Captain Atomic and Tecton. I would definitely want those two to survive for sure. Because they're pretty much like the Steve Rogers and the Tony Stark of Mighty Med, right? And yeah, like I said, this show is very punny. Like, again, what I mean by that is it's both funny and has a lot of puns, right? The puns, sometimes they click, right? But the fact that Oliver's mom is Mr. Terror, like, and I guess I'm kind of glad that Oliver got to admit to his mom before she got married to Horace, like he and Kaz work at Mighty Med, like, if he would have said that to his mom then, like, I don't know what the results could be. Like, Oliver's parents, they were still together in the first season, but we never get to see them, right? And in this season, season 2, like, his mom starts dating Horace. Like, I wonder what made them split up. Like, I wouldn't doubt if, like, Oliver's mom's, like, ex-husband, like, he didn't want to be around her because she's so, like, condescending, a dictator and all that. Like, oh my gosh. Like, how can you live with yourself, woman, huh? I would love to see, like, on film, like, them putting her away. Like, again, they reference this in Elite Force. Elite Force, yeah. I love how some of the character arcs are still the same. Some of the, like, there's more maturity coming into these characters. Like I said with Kaz, like, he's become more mature since Mighty Med. Oliver, though, he has become so insecure because he's got superpowers. Like, seriously, that Arturian relic from Mighty Med is just a pretty cool prop, and the fact that they brought it back and they made it more, more important in the show. Like, yeah, I'm just happy that Chase was helping Oliver, work out his powers and all that. Because, guys, you gotta remember, if you watch Mighty Men, you should know that Kaz has always been the F student, but because, like, he's got superpowers and he's more mature, like, he's a lot better than Oliver. And like I said with Skylar's character, I love how they still kept her heroicness, her confidence, her maturity into the show, and her chemistry with, Kelly Berglund. Like, that was so cool. Like, man, I love the crossover episode. It's pretty much a movie at this point. The Lab Rats versus Mighty Men crossover, like, that's my go-to crossover, guys. Like, if you guys don't know, I would watch it all the time. Again, that's when the Elite Force started, And you know what? Chase is always team leader. Like, even in Elite Force, he did say, like, his new title is team member. But, like, everyone on the team, yes, they're all equals. They can take on the leadership whenever they can. Like, when somebody else can't. Like, I like how they can't always rely on Chase because he's the mission leader, right? Like, Skylar, she stepped up and, like, again, that's what I love about this cast, like, the chemistry, it works so well. The kid, AJ, he's a 10-year-old kid who's really good with technology and hangs out with the Lab Rats for a little bit. So the cliffhanger, of Elite Force, I thought it was pretty cool, but I really did thought that they were going to make a comeback for sure. You gotta love their costumes, guys. Like, how can you not love their costumes? The blue and the black, like, man, it does feel like they're part of, like, Fantastic Four or the X-Men or, heck, even the Avengers, right? So this is where I want to get into the part where I think Lab Rats should be revived. So a few years back, I made a video stating that I have wrote a script for a Lab Rats Elite Force movie, and I think it should be PG-13. However, looking back on it 4 years later, I might need to change some stuff in the script or write a totally different script, you know? Because this was a fan film that I was trying to make, right? And I wanted to be Chase, but I don't know, like, any karate, right? So, like, I pretty much, like, downgraded his character, almost nerfed him. So if I were to present this at Disney, I know they would have better writers, and I'll admit I'm not the best writer myself, but like I don't mind having help. Like, you know, I'm a diehard Lab Rats and Mighty Med fan, and I'm trying to, like, you know, remember all these like pinpoints, Easter eggs, references, you know. Yeah, I really do think that this would bring Billy Unger back into the acting gig, you know, Lab Rats. Like, honestly, if that would be the only franchise he ever work on for the rest of his life, like, great, you know? I've also thought about this, too. What if... Just bear with me, guys. Remember, take this with a grain of salt. Not saying that this will ever happen, but man, Disney, if they ever do reach out, remember, my business email is realblu-raydave@gmail.com. Like, seriously, I would love to work with the actors for sure. I can't explain the whole script to you guys, but if you would like me to do a reading for it for a video, I can. I really do feel like in this hypothetical movie that I would like to come out, let's say it's successful, right? And there would be like spin-offs or side projects that'll come after that, because I think that's how you should keep both franchises alive. But don't overdo it. I could see them being worked out as Disney Plus original series, right? But you can't give every single character, you know, a show, right? Because it wouldn't make sense. Maybe bring in some new players into the teams and maybe give them their own spin-offs, and then one member of Lab Rats or Mighty Med could come in like every once in a while, you know? But like, man, I would definitely be careful on how to bring back this franchise, because, man, like, it means so much to the fans. I definitely want to get posters for sure. I don't really know what's my favorite season still, even after like the original show ended back in 2016, early 2016, which was perfect timing and makes sense for Elite Force to come in. Seriously, like I said, I would really like to work with writers for sure. And we have to look at the realistic side of this, guys. Like, as much as I would want this to happen, and let's say, hypothetically speaking, again, if this were to happen, if I were to work with writers at Disney, I know that somehow, even if it's not the writers, like, they'll find some way to make it political. Like, I would hate to ruin this franchise, guys. Like, it ended off way too soon, and like, this franchise deserves justice, you know? And believe me, I know I'm not the only one who thinks that Lab Rats should like have a PG-13 movie. Like, I think everyone else can agree, like, be on board on this, because how, like I said, how mature the show was. Can you imagine if this show ended up on ABC? That would be totally different. Which, by the way, before the name Lab Rats appeared, I believe the original name for it was supposed to be $1 Million Sophomore, right? And it did have Hal Sparks, Billy Unger, and Spencer Bowman, right? Leo and Brie were not part of it. And apparently this show was in the works since 2010. So 2 years they were developing this show. But like, that's good. That's good. That shows you're really serious about your craft. Like, you want to protect this. Like, I mean, who knows? In a way, they could bring back both shows, literally. Like, just do like how they did with the Clone Wars season 7, put on Disney Plus, right? Like, well, I guess not necessarily. Some people are kind of suggesting, like, what if we brought back Mighty Med, like, for Disney Plus, but, like, it's a limited season, like, and de-age the characters. Honestly, at this point, there's no need and no point to de-age, especially, like, Bradley, Jake, and Paris, because they still look the same, like, and they sound the same, too, oh my goodness, like, yes, I really want to see how Mighty Med came into ruins, or if Disney wanted to, they can make a graphic novel of Elite Force, right? Like, show, like, the backstory on Mighty Med and what happened after the shapeshifters attacked Sentium City, right? Seriously, if any of you guys are Lab Rats and Mighty Med fans, like, I want to hear all of your stories and pitches, ideas in the comments below, because the stuff that I've heard in the last couple of years now, like, man, like, there's a lot of good, like, fan writers here who could really bring back the franchise. And honestly, this hypothetical movie would be like a fan service to us, like, and I think it should be directed by fans. And seriously, I would love to work with Billy Unger, like, seriously, just, I would love to talk to him, work with him, like, man, again, like, these guys were my childhood heroes, right? Like, why wouldn't I want to work with them? Like, I think even in my script, like, I definitely did improve some character arcs. Like, Adam should not be dumb anymore, and I do believe I did bring Gus back, but he's a lot smarter now. And Alan's evolved. Like, again, if you guys want me to do a script reading on my channel, let me know in the comments. Let's say this video gets 10 likes and I'll do it. 10 likes and I'll do a script reading, okay? And again, I am open up for any constructive criticism on the script, okay? Because, again, I think I could do better. Like, you know, my mind has changed. I don't think, I don't want the story to be the same anymore. At least maybe some elements could still make it in, but, like, again, Bob Iger, if you somehow watch this, which I highly doubt, please reach out. I want to do this awesome fan service, again, for the Lab Rats fans and the Mighty Med fans, like, why wouldn't you make this franchise PG-13? It's just obvious. It's just freaking obvious. As far as I could tell, I don't think any other Disney show has gotten this much high praise. Again, it could just be like the old Trinity shows, like from Disney Channel. Again, Raven, Sweet Life, and Hannah Montana. Like, but Lab Rats, like, geez, Lab Rats pretty much saved Disney XD. I apologize, guys, if I'm a little quiet, just because, like, again, like, whenever I think about these things or talk about these things, like, I have my quiet moments, right, and I'm thinking, like, can you imagine fans would scream at the top of their lungs just to get this back? I'm lucky to this day that I have, you know, the only DVD of Lab Rats that Disney's ever released. It's Every Family Has Its Glitches, and it's like the top 7 episodes of season 1, like, again, where the bionic kids have their glitches, right? I wonder if this was like a test. Like, what if Disney's like, hey, let's see how many fans buy this DVD, and who knows, maybe we'll release the first season, you know? Honestly, like, now that Bob Iger is going back to physical media, I think it is time to release all the shows on Blu-ray. Like, release the whole show of Lab Rat seasons 1 through 4, not individual seasons, and the whole season of Mighty Med. The whole show of Mighty Med, I apologize, and the whole season/show of Elite Force. And I think that would show, like, again, us the fans, if we were to buy those hypothetical Blu-rays, if they see that we care, like, okay, we got to bring the franchise back, guys. Like, what can we do, right? Honestly, guys, I really wish that I knew somebody really well who worked in the film industry, and then they would like, bring me in. Like as much as like I have a love hate relationship with Disney, I feel like this could be. I feel like this could be a start because even I want to act in some stuff. Like as a YouTuber, I want to act in some stuff as well. Voice act. My brother and I have always talked about voice acting and stuff. Like that would be great. Thing is, though, not sure what to voice act though. And like I said before too, I would love to work with John Favreau and Dave Filoni at Lucasfilm. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else to talk about other than like, man, guys, I really want to get back into the swing of things of talking about these shows again. Like I said, it was popping back in 2016. Like people were talking about Lap Rats, Mighty Med, like. Yeah, there should have been more physical releases for Lab Rats for sure. If you guys don't have the DVD, these are the 7 episodes. So we have the first 2 is Crash, Chop, and Burn, the 2-parter. Rats on a Train, Death Spiral Smackdown, Dude, Where's My Lab, Back from the Future, and Mission Space. Like I said, I'm really happy to have this on DVD, But I think it will look a lot more cooler on Blu-ray. So yeah, guys, this was another long episode of the podcast. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Seriously, guys, like, I should be saying this with every video now, but like, please, I am open to constructive criticism, okay? Like, I want to hear what you guys have to say about anything, okay? Like, seriously, I want to hear your guys' ideas, like, and believe me, like, some of the ideas I've gotten from fans over the years, sometimes I try to bring them to light on my channel, like, so seriously, guys, don't be afraid, okay? Like, if you're a Lab Rats fan, a Mighty Med fan, whatever fan you are, let's just talk about it, I love talking about things, anything with my fans, Like, I want to get to know you guys better, like, this is something I was trying to do back when I started. Like, man, I was just 15 when I started. Gosh. Alright, I'm going to sign off now. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And I'll see you guys in the other remake. I still got to plan that one out, so just stay tuned for that. Alright, you guys have a good night now. Bye, guys.